culpable o nolo?
Culpable.
Guilty.
Does she understand that by entering into the guilty plea, she's doing this without the assistance of a lawyer?
Al declararse culpable aquí, usted lo está haciendo esto sin asesoría de un abogado. ¿Entiende eso?
Sí.
Yes.
Does she also understand that by entering this plea, she is waiving her right to a trial?
También al declararse culpable aquí, usted renuncia al derecho a tener un juicio. ¿Entendió eso?
Sí.
Yes.
Is she entering this plea because she believes it's in her best interest?
¿Usted se está declarando de esta manera porque usted considera que es lo que más le conviene?
Sí.
Yes.
Let her know the court will accept her guilty plea. The fine
Acepta-
amount is $760.
Aceptamos su declaración de culpable y la multa total son de $760.
Sí, está bien.
Yes,
We
that's
also
fine.
will acknowledge that she has received interpreting services for this particular adjudication in Forest Park.
Y también se reconoce que usted ha recibido los servicios de un intérprete para este caso aquí en Forest Park.
Sí.
Ask her, can she pay the $760 within 2 weeks, or does she need a longer period of time?
¿Usted puede pagar los 760 a más tardar en 2 semanas o necesita más de 2 semanas?
Sí, está bien. En 2 semanas.
¿En 2 semanas lo va a pagar?
Sí.
Yeah, 2 weeks is fine.
All right, let her know that Ms. Green will give her plea form for her to sign, and then we'll give her 2-week agreement.
Ok, la señorita le va a dar el documento para que usted firme, cómo se declare, y también el acuerdo de que usted va a pagar a más tardar en 2 semanas. Lo puede pagar antes de 2 semanas.
Sí.
And the fine amount is $760.
Y la multa total son $770.
If she
Yes.
will please have a seat.
Por favor, ahora siéntese.
All right, you want to go to the next person, Ms. Green?
The next one is Melvis Aguilera.
Euseda. Aguilera,
okay.
Euseda, Melvins, por favor pase enfrente del podio y conteste con voz alta para poderlo escuchar cuando le hagan una pregunta.
What is his plea, guilty, not guilty, or no low contendere?
¿Cómo se declara el cargo que tiene? ¿Culpable, no culpable o no disputa el cargo? No lo contendere.
No lo contende.
No lo contendere.
Is he eligible for a no low plea?
Yes, he is.
Tell him the fine amount is $175.
La multa total son $175 y si le otorgan el nolo, si califica para el nolo.
Does he understand that by entering into the no low plea, he's doing this without the assistance of a lawyer?
Y usted entiende que al declararse nolo aquí lo está haciendo sin asesoría de un abogado. ¿Entendió eso?
Sí,
Yes.
Does he also understand that by entering into the plea that he is waiving his right to a trial?
Y también usted renuncia al derecho a tener un juicio aquí cuando está declarando nolo. ¿Entendió eso?
sí,
Yes.
Is he entering into the plea freely and voluntarily?
¿Se está declarando de esta manera por su propia voluntad y libremente?
sí,
Yes.
And does he believe it is in his best interest to enter into the no low plea?
¿Y usted considera que declararse nolo es lo que más le conviene?
sí.
Yes.
Let him know the fine amount is $175.
La multa son $175.
Okay.
We
Okay.
want to acknowledge that he has received interpreting services for this adjudication of his case.
Y queremos reconocer que usted se le ha proporcionado el servicio de un intérprete para poder resolver su caso hoy aquí.
Okay.
Can he pay the $175 in 2 weeks, or does he need a longer period of time?
¿Usted puede pagar los 175 a más tardar en 2 semanas o necesita más de 2 semanas para pagarlo?
No, está bien. En 2 semanas.
¿Está en 2 semanas?
Sí,
2 weeks is fine.
All right, he will be given his plea form and a 2-week agreement to pay the sum of $175.
Ok, le van a dar el documento de cómo se declara para que lo firme y luego le van a dar un acuerdo de que usted se compromete a pagar a más tardar en 2 semanas.
ok.
Ok.
All right, if he will please have a seat.
Por favor, siéntese.
Ms. Green,
We have the attorney back, Your Honor.
Hello,
all
Your Honor.
right, counsel.
He agreed to that plea.
All right, counsel, please bring your client forward.
He's coming.
Senor Cortez, through counsel, it's my understanding you're entering a guilty plea to the second driving without a license charge. Is that correct, sir?
Señor Cortés, entiendo que a través de su abogado usted decide declararse culpable al cargo por segunda vez de manejar sin licencia. ¿Es eso correcto?
Sí.
Yes.
He's also entering a guilty plea to the seatbelt violation and the defective tail light. Is that correct?
También se está declarando culpable al cargo de tener las luces defectuosas o las luces de freno defectuosas y al no llevar su cinturón de seguridad. ¿Es eso correcto?
Sí.
Yes.
Counsel, is there a factual basis that supports all three charges?
I'm sorry, Your Honor.
Is there a factual basis that supports the three charges?
I'm not sure what you're asking, to be honest.
What I'm asking you is, are there sufficient facts that support his guilty plea to these charges?
Yes, Your Honor, I'm sorry.
All right, that's fine. The court, does he understand that by entering this guilty plea, he is waiving his right to a trial? He'll ask Senor Cortez that.
¿Usted entiende que declararse culpable aquí, usted renuncia a su derecho a tener juicio? ¿Entendió eso?
Perdón. It got cut off, I'm sorry.
Al declararse culpable hoy aquí, usted renuncia al derecho a tener un juicio. ¿Entendió eso?
Sí.
Yes.
Senor Cortez, are you entering this plea freely and voluntarily?
Señor Cortés, ¿se está declarando de esta manera por su propia voluntad y libremente?
Sí.
Yes.
And do you believe it is in your best interest to enter into the guilty plea?
¿Y usted considera que declararse culpable es lo que más le conviene?
Sí.
Yes.
The court will accept your guilty plea to all three charges.
El juez acepta su declaración de culpable en los tres cargos
The court will sentence you as follows.
y le va a imponer las siguientes penas.
On the seatbelt violation and the defective taillight violation, there will be no fines.
En los dos primeros cargos del cinturón de seguridad y de las luces no va a imponer ninguna multa.
On the driving without a valid license, the fine is $1,595.
Y la multa por manejar sin licencia por segunda vez son $1,595.
You will be placed on probation for 12 months.
Lo van a poner bajo libertad vigilada, lo que llaman aquí probation, por 12 meses.
6 months are mandatory.
6 meses son obligatorios.
And while on probation, you must complete 20 hours of community service and pay the fine.
Y mientras está bajo libertad vigilada, tiene que cumplir con 20 horas de servicio de favor a la comunidad y luego pagar la multa. Esas dos cosas tiene que hacerlas mientras está bajo libertad vigilada.
You also must pay any probation fees that are accrued.
Y también tiene que pagar el costo de libertad vigilada adicional, que es un costo adicional por mes.
Counsel, is there anything you'd like to say?
No, Your
Lo
Honor.
que quiera decir.
That will be the sentence of your court. Your client will be given information regarding probation. Thank you.
Thank you,
Ok,
Your Honor.
eso es la condena que impone el juez y su cliente le van a dar información sobre libertad vigilada.
Ms. Green, you want to call the next person?
We have Robert Archer. Robert Archer.
Good afternoon, Mr. Archer. What is your plea to the failure to yield charge, sir?
I'm guilty.
Do you understand by entering into the guilty plea that you're doing this without the assistance of a lawyer?
Yes,
Do you also understand by entering into the plea that you are waiving your right to a trial?
yes,
Are you entering into the plea freely and voluntarily?
freely.
And do you believe it is in your best interest to enter into the plea?
Yes,
The court will accept your guilty plea, sir. The fine amount is $175. Can you pay that in 2 weeks, or do you need a longer period of time?
I can pay it.
All right, sir, you will be given a plea form to which you will enter a guilty plea, and then you will be given a 2-week agreement, and you can pay the $175 anytime within that 2-week time. Do you understand that?
Yes,
Thank you. If you'll please have a seat.
thank you.
All right.
Okay, Your Honor, we have Timon Baker, or Barker, page 2.
All right.
Put your address, phone number, and get them on.
Did this car belong to Mr. Barker?
Yes,
sir, I'm right here.
Mr. Barker, did this vehicle belong to you?
Yes, sir.
All right, what is your plea to the suspended registration and the failure to have your license on your person?
It was guilty.
You understand that by entering into the guilty plea that you're doing this without the assistance of a lawyer?
Yes.
You also understand that by entering into the plea that you are waiving your right to a trial?
Yes, sir.
Are you entering into the plea freely and voluntarily?
Yes, sir.
And do you believe it is in your best interest to enter into the plea?
Yes.
Ms. Green, on the suspended registration, we're going to reduce it to expired tag. The fine for that is $760. And did he have a valid license at the time?
No, his license is suspended, sir.
All right. His total fine is $1,520. He will be placed on probation for 12 months. 6 months are mandatory. And we will serve him with a notice of suspension. And every month that he's on probation, he will have to pay a monthly probation fee. Do you understand that, Mr. Barker?
Yes, I do.
All right, if you will have a seat, they will give you information regarding probation.
Next, Your Honor, we have, we're going to page 4, Nancy Cross.
Ms. Cross, what is your plea on false reporting information to a police officer?
Not guilty.
Excuse me, I can't hear you.
Not guilty.
All right, do you want me to keep this case in Forest Park or do you want it bound over to Clayton County?
Keep it here.
If it stays in Forest Park, it's a bench trial. If it's sent over to Clayton County, you're eligible to have a jury trial. Which would you prefer to have?
Clayton County.
All right, let's bind her case over to Clayton County. Give her a bind over form to fill out, confirm her address. The next time you receive a court notice, you will not come to Forest Park. Instead, you will go to the Clayton County Courthouse. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. If you'll have a seat.
Thank you.
We have Miss Jada Dugas.
Dugas,
Yes, ma'am.
Jada.
Dugas, okay.
Does she need an interpret? ¿Necesita intérprete? No, you don't need an interpret.
No.
Ms.
Okay.
Dugas, what is your plea to driving on suspended license? Is it not guilty, guilty, or nolo contendere?
I believe Nolo, but I wanted to see if I could extend the court date or schedule my court date.
You can just enter a not guilty plea and we can set you down on a trial calendar if that's what you'd like. Would you like that?
What does that mean?
And I need for you to speak up.
I'm sorry, what does that mean? What is?
That just simply means you will enter a not guilty plea today and we'll set you down on a trial calendar. And if you decide to take a plea that day, you can, or your case will go to a trial.
No, could I use the Nolo? She told me to wait to see if I.
Let me see if is she eligible for a no-lo plea.
She used a NOLO, it looks like, last year in Atlanta.
What was the charge?
Failure to obey signs or control device.
Does she have one for a suspendable offense? Is that the only time she's used a no-lo?
Yes, sir.
Okay, then she's eligible. Ms. Dugas, you are eligible for a no-lo plea on a suspendable offense if you'd like to do it.
Okay, and I won't have any points on my license.
You're going to have points. This is a suspendable offense, but it'll keep your license from going into suspension.
Okay.
Right now, you're facing a license suspension. The no-lo plea will keep your license from going into suspension. Your fine amount is $760. You would have to pay that. But it will show on your driving record as a no-lo plea to the driving on suspended license.
So if I was to get an attorney, would it do that? Would I?
You can, if you'd like to speak with an attorney, I can give you time and you would just simply enter a not guilty plea.
Okay,
Are you able to hire yourself a private lawyer?
Yes. I'm sorry, yes.
All right, do you want me to keep the case here in Forest Park, or do you want it bound over to Clayton County?
It doesn't matter. Yeah, I guess here. Yes, here.
Okay, let me tell you the difference. If it's bound over to Clayton County, you could have a jury trial. If it stays in Forest Park, you will have a bench trial to which I will be the judge. Do you understand that?
Yes.
So where would you like your case to be adjudicated?
I
Forest Park or Clayton County?
guess Clayton County.
Excuse me?
Clayton County?
Okay, we're gonna bind her case over to Clayton County. Have her, let her fill out a bind over form, and then the next time you have a court date, you will not come to Forest Park, you will go to the Clayton County Courthouse on Tower Boulevard. Do you understand that?
Yes, how would I know if, like the new court date?
They're gonna send it to the address that you write down right now. If you'll have a seat, thank you. You wanna call the next person?
Bendy Francis.
Signature. Okay, and also your email address too.
Mr. Francis, what is your plea to the traffic control device, sir?
No contact, Your Honor.
Excuse me?
No contact, Your Honor.
I can't hear you.
No contact, Your
Are
Honor.
you trying to say no contest?
No contest, yes, ma'am.
You mean no low contendere?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
All right, is he eligible for a no low plea?
He is.
All right, sir, do you understand that by entering into the no low plea, you're doing this without the assistance of a lawyer?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you also understand that by entering into the plea that you are waiving your right to a trial?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you entering into the plea freely and voluntarily?
Freely and voluntary, Your Honor.
And do you think it is in your best interest to enter into the no low plea, Mr. Francis?
Yes, Your Honor.
The court will accept your no low plea. The fine amount is $175. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you able to pay that in 2 weeks, or do you need a longer time to pay it?
No, I can pay it right now, Your Honor.
Okay, they will direct you to take care of that momentarily. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. If you'll please have a seat.
Okay, Your Honor, next on the docket is Wallace Henderson.
Thank you, sir. I understand that. Thank you.
Mr. Henderson, what is your plea to the failure to exercise due care, sir?
No.
You understand that by entering into the no low plea, you're doing this without the assistance of a lawyer?
Yes.
Can you all tell me if Mr. Henderson is eligible for a no low plea?
He is, sir.
All right. Sir, do you realize you're entering this plea, you are waiving your right to a trial?
Yes.
And you're entering this plea without the assistance of a lawyer?
Yes.
All right, sir, the court will accept your no low plea to the failure to exercise due care charge. The fine amount is $100. Are you able to satisfy that today, or do you need some time to pay it?
I need some time.
Do you need more than 2 weeks, or can it be paid in 2 weeks?
I just need tomorrow.
All right, sir, you will be given 2 weeks to pay this, the sum of $100. They will give you a plea form, enter a no low plea, and then they'll give you your 2-week agreement. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Thank you. If you'll please have a seat.
Okay, Your Honor, we have Michelle Hill. Ms. Hill.
Ms. Hill, what is your plea to the window tint violation?
I'm gonna say not guilty.
All right, do you want me to keep the case here in Forest Park, or do you want it bound over to Clayton County where you're eligible for a jury trial?
Keep it here.
Excuse me?
Here.
All right, then we're gonna put you down for not guilty, and your case will be reset for a trial in Forest Park. Do you understand that?
Yes.
If you'll have a seat, they'll give you some paperwork momentarily.
Okay.
Thank you. Your next matter?
Next one is going to be Bryce Johnson.
Mr. Johnson, what is your plea to the failure to maintain insurance charge?
Guilty, sir.
Excuse me?
Guilty, sir.
All right, is he eligible for a no-low plea?
He is.
All right, sir, you may want to consider a no-low plea. A guilty plea will suspend your license. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Would you like to change your plea to no-low?
Yes, sir.
All right, do you understand that by entering into the no-low plea that you're doing this without the assistance of a lawyer?
You're doing it without the assistance of an attorney or a lawyer.
Okay.
Do you also understand that by entering into the no-low plea that you will not have a trial? Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Are you entering this plea freely and voluntarily?
Yes, sir.
And do you believe it is in your best interest to enter into the plea?
Yes, sir.
The fine amount is $630. Are you able to pay that in 12 months? I mean, in 2 weeks, or do you need a longer period of time?
Weeks is fine.
Ms. Green, he will be given 2 weeks to pay the sum of $630.
Okay,
And he's entering a no-low plea.
okay.
If you'll please have a seat.
Okay, Your Honor, next we have Quantez Lawrence.
Mr. Lawrence, what is your plea to the possession of open container and speeding charge, sir? Is it not guilty, guilty, or no-low contendere?
Oh, guilty.
You understand that by entering into the guilty plea that you're doing this without the assistance of a lawyer?
Yes.
You also understand that by entering into the plea that you are waiving your right to a trial?
Yes.
Are you entering into the plea, Mr. Lawrence, freely and voluntarily?
Yes.
And do you believe it is in your best interest to enter into the plea?
Yes.
All right, sir, the total fine amount is $350. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Are you able to pay that in 2 weeks, or do you need a longer period of time?
I'll be able to pay it.
2 weeks.
Excuse me,
I'll be able to pay it.
in 2 weeks?
Yes.
Okay, Ms. Green will give you your plea form and a 2-week agreement to pay the sum of $350. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you.
Your Honor, next we have Esmeralda Martinez.
She just stepped out.
Esmeralda Martínez, si puede pasar enfrente ahí en el podio, por favor.
And she will need an interpreter.
All right,
Yes. Is she there? I don't see her, Miss
she's
Green.
coming.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Ms.
Okay,
Martinez, you have 2 different charges. One is a traffic control device and the other one is illegal stopping. What is your plea to the 2 charges?
Señora Martínez tiene 2 cargos, uno por no obedecer una señal de tránsito y otro por pararse en un sitio ilícito que no tenía que pararse. ¿Cómo se declaran los cargos?
Y no lo porque sí fue en una luz, pero yo quise frenar, pero me tocó la luz en amarillo, yo no me podía quedar atravesada, tenía que cruzar.
¿Usted dijo nolo?
Sí.
Okay, nolo. I just was caught in between the change of lights, you know, it was a yellow light and then didn't want to get stuck in the middle, so I had to go.
Ask her, does she understand that by entering this plea, she's doing this without the assistance of a lawyer?
Usted entiende que al declararse aquí nolo, usted está haciendo esto sin el asesoramiento de un abogado, ¿entendió eso?
Ok, está bien.
Okay, that's fine.
Does she also understand she's waiving her right to a trial?
Y usted entiende que, que renuncia a su derecho a tener un juicio, ¿entendió eso?
¿Cómo que quiere decir?
Judge Freeman,
Yes.
sorry to interrupt you. I'm looking at, I just ran her in the system, and the second ticket, she got charged for running the red light, and then the second ticket should be no license on person.
Okay, thank you.
And she also has a New Mexico driver's license.
All right, thank you. Okay, so she's charged with no license on person. Tell her that charge is going to be dismissed.
Your Honor, I'm sorry, one moment.
Okay, tiene un cargo por no tener la licencia consigo, pero ese cargo se lo van a retirar.
Okay.
So we're going forward on the traffic control device. Is she entering this plea freely and voluntarily?
Vamos a proceder con el caso de no pararse en una luz de en una señal de tránsito. Usted está declarando libre voluntariamente, por su propia voluntad está tomando esta declaración.
Pues en esa de la que dice de la luz, no sé voluntariamente si sí o no sé, o es culpable, no sé cómo declarar.
Ok, le están preguntando que si sabe que si su decisión de declararse lo está haciendo por su propia voluntad y
Sí.
libremente, que nadie le ha amenazado.
Sí.
And
Yes.
does she believe it is in her best interest to enter into the plea?
¿Y usted considera que declararse de esta manera es lo que más le conviene?
Pues la verdad no sé para qué le
Well,
miento,
I really don't know.
para qué le miento.
Tell her, does she want to enter a not guilty plea and come back to court on her trial date?
¿Usted quiere declararse no culpable y venir otro día para tener un juicio?
Mejor me declaro culpable, porque es que como trabajo.
I think I better plead guilty because I work.
Ask her, does she want to go forward with this no-low plea today?
¿Usted quiere seguir adelante declarándose nulo hoy aquí en este caso?
Culpable, está bien.
Guilty is fine.
She wants to change her plea from no-low to guilty?
¿Usted quiere cambiar su declaración de no disputar los cargos o nulo a declararse culpable?
Culpable, sí. Pues sí.
Guilty. Yeah, that's fine.
The court will accept the guilty plea. Let her know the fine amount is $250.
Aceptamos su declaración de culpable. La multa son de $250.
Ok.
Ask her, can she pay that within 2 weeks or does she need a longer period of time?
¿Usted puede pagar eso hoy? ¿Necesita más tardar 2 semanas o necesita más de 2 semanas?
Mire, si puedo pagarle hoy 150 y le resto 100 para si me da 2 semanas.
I can pay 150 today and then 100 in 2 weeks.
All right, tell her she will be given 2 weeks to pay the total amount at one time.
Se le van a dar a más tardar 2 semanas para que pague toda la cantidad en total. No puede pagar por pedazo. Tiene que pagar todo y tiene 2 semanas para pagarlo. ¿Eso es suficiente?
Está bien. Nada más vengo aquí a la oficina de aquí enfrente, ¿verdad?
So that's fine. So all I have to do is come back here to the office in the front and pay.
That is correct.
Eso es correcto.
Ok.
Ask her to please have a seat. They'll give her plea form and her 2-week agreement.
Ok, puede sentarse, le van a dar su documento para que lo firme como se declara y luego el contrato de que va a pagar a más tardar en 2 semanas.
Okay,
And the
gracias.
sum is $250.
Y la cantidad total son $250.
Gracias.
Thank you.
You want to call the next matter, Ms. Green?
Ms. McAllister. Thank you.
Who am I speaking with? I didn't hear the name, Ms. Green.
McAllister,
All right. Shadrika McAllister, what is your plea to the disorderly house charge?
Not guilty.
Do you want me to keep the case here in Forest Park where you're eligible for a bench trial? Or do you want this case bound over to Clayton County where you're eligible for a jury trial?
You could bound it over to Clayton.
All right, let's send this case over to Clayton County. Let's provide her with a form to fill out, and then the next time you receive a court date, you will not come to Forest Park. You will go to Clayton County Courthouse on Tara Boulevard. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Please have a seat.
next we have Thomas Moore.
Email address.
Is Mr. Moore eligible for a no-law plea?
He is.
Mr. Moore, what is your plea to the failure to maintain insurance and suspended registration?
No.
You understand that by entering into the no-law plea, you're doing this without the assistance of a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
Do you also understand, sir, that by entering into the plea that you're waiving your right to a trial?
Yes, sir.
Sir, are you entering into the plea freely and voluntarily?
Yes, sir.
And sir, do you believe it is in your best interest to enter into the plea?
Yes, sir.
Sir, the court will accept the no-law plea. The total fine is $1,020, $1,520. Do you understand that for the 2 charges? The no-law plea will keep your license out of suspension. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Are you able to pay that in 2 weeks, or do you need a longer period of time?
Can I get a month to pay it?
I will place you on probation, and you can always pay off your probation early. You understand that?
So as soon as I pay it, I'll be off probation?
That is correct.
All right, thank you.
So, sir, you will be placed on probation for 12 months. It will be pay-only probation. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir, thank you.
All right, if you'll have a seat, they'll give you some documents.
I need you to fill that out. Commissioner.
Ms. Green, who is the next person?
Next person, Your Honor, is going to be Juan Paciano.
Juan Pacheco Olmedo. Señor Juan Pacheco Olmedo, por favor, acérquese al podio ahí donde están.
This is at page 12 of 16, is that correct?
That's correct.
Yes.
Can you please ask him what is his plea to driving without a valid license? He needs interpreting services.
Is he there already?
Yes.
¿Cómo se declara al cargo de manejo sin licencia, señor Olmedo?
Culpable.
Guilty.
Do you understand that by entering into the guilty plea, you're doing this without the assistance of a lawyer?
Usted se está declarando aquí culpable y entiende que lo está haciendo sin el asesoramiento de un abogado. ¿Entendió eso?
Sí.
Yes.
Mr. Almeida, do you also understand that by entering into the plea that you are waiving your right to a trial?
También al declararse culpable, usted renuncia al derecho a tener un juicio. ¿Entendió eso?
Sí.
Yes.
Sir, are you entering into this plea freely and voluntarily?
¿Se está declarando de esta manera por su propia voluntad y libremente?
Sí.
And do
Yes.
you believe it is in your best interest to enter into the plea?
¿Y usted considera que declararse de esta manera es lo que más le conviene?
Sí.
Sir, is this the first time you've been charged with driving without a valid license?
Señor, ¿esta es la primera vez que a usted lo acusan de manejar sin licencia?
Sí.
Yes.
The fine amount is $760. Are you able to pay that in 2 weeks, or do you need a longer period of time?
La multa que le imponen son de $760. ¿Lo puede pagar hoy, más tardar en 2 semanas, o necesita más de 2 semanas?
No están bien 2 semanas.
That's fine, 2 weeks.
All right, he will be given his plea form and a 2-week agreement. If you'll please have a seat.
Le van a dar un documento que es como usted se declara para que lo firme, y luego un documento que se compromete a pagar a más tardar en 2 semanas. Por favor, siéntese y después cuando se lo den, habla con la secretaria. Okay.
Next, Your Honor, we have Angela Peppers.
Ms. Peppers, you have been charged with a disorderly house. What is your plea? Not guilty, guilty, or nolo contendere?
Not guilty.
Do you want this matter to stay in Forest Park, or would you like for it to be bound over to Clayton County where you're eligible for a jury trial?
Down over to Clayton County.
All right, let's bind this case over to Clayton County. They will provide you with a bind over document to sign. The next time you have a court date, you will not come to Forest Park. You will go to the Clayton County Courthouse on Tar Boulevard. Do you understand that?
Yes.
All right, thank you. If you'll please have a seat.
And I need your bind over, your plea sheet as well. Okay, Your Honor, we have Manuel Rama Hernandez. And he will need interpretive services.
Okay. Manuel Ramos Hernández.
He's on the top of page 13 of 16.
Yes, Your Honor.
Sir, you've been charged with suspended registration and erratic lane change. What is your plea? Not guilty, guilty, or nolo contendere?
Señor, usted se le acusa por tener una suspendida la matrícula y también por manejar erráticamente, en cambio, cuando estaba cambiando de carril. ¿Cómo se declara los 2 cargos?
Sí, bueno, en el caso del cargo de la placa vencida, tengo evidencia aquí que yo tenía eso pagado con mi seguro. No sé por qué el seguro no lo puso en el sistema, y por eso cuando tuve el accidente, el oficial me puso ese cargo, pero yo tengo evidencia aquí que tengo mi placa en forma, no tengo problema con la placa.
Okay, I do have, I don't know what happened, but I did pay the registration through my insurance. And when there was an accident, then the police put me that I have suspended or revoked registration, but I don't know what happened because I do have proof right here that I do have a valid registration.
Okay, well, let him know that his insurance company reported that his license had lapsed. Does he want to enter a not guilty plea and just bring that paperwork to court on his trial date?
La aseguranza dice, o el seguro dice que hubo un lapso en el seguro, en esa matrícula. Usted quiere declararse no culpable ahora y para que le dé tiempo de buscar los documentos necesarios para probar, para que le den probar esto de que usted sí tenía o no tenía la matrícula.
No, yo tengo los documentos aquí en mi mano. Tengo la carta del seguro y tengo el documento que me dio Motor y Vehículos que dice que mi placa está en perfecto estado. O sea, yo no tengo problema con la placa.
I do have the letter from the insurance right here, and I do have another document from the DMV where it says that my registration is valid, it's okay.
Okay, tell him I need his insurance. I need to show proof that he had insurance for 1 year prior to the date of this incident, which means I need for him to have it from December the 11th of 2021 through December 12th of 2022. And he can tell him that's the information that I need to see.
Okay, lo que necesito yo de su seguro es que pruebe que usted tenía seguro corrido un año antes de que pasara esto. O sea, que tienen que decir que usted tenía seguro desde el 11 de diciembre del 2021 corrido hasta el 12 de diciembre del 2022. Eso es lo que necesito de su seguro.
Sí, bueno, yo puedo traerle esa información, puedo dársela. Ahora no la tengo aquí, o sea, la que tengo es la que me dio Motor y Vehículos, pero puedo recopilarle esa información.
Yes, I can go ahead and try and get that information and bring it back
All
to you.
right, tell him that we will see him back on his trial date, and he needs to cover the period of December the 11th of 2021 through December 12th of 2022. I need to see continuous coverage for that time frame.
Ok, lo veo la próxima fecha cuando le den la fecha nueva para su juicio. Lo que necesito es una carta que diga exactamente que usted tenía seguro corrido sin ningún lapso de diciembre 11 del 2021 al 12 de diciembre del 2022. Es lo que necesito.
Okay.
Let him know he is standing here because they are saying that he had a lapse of insurance during that time frame.
Usted se encuentra aquí presente porque el seguro está diciendo que usted que hubo un lapso en su seguro en esa fecha que le acabamos de decir. Entonces tiene que traer una carta que el seguro diga que no hubo ningún lapso en ningún momento, que usted no dejó de pagar o que no hubo ningún problema con su seguro y que tenía seguro corrido desde el 11 de diciembre del 2021 al 12 de diciembre del 2022.
Bueno, mira,
es lo que necesitamos.
Mira, hubo un mes que yo no pude pagar el seguro. Pero después después que yo pagué el seguro, como a los 2 meses tuve el accidente de carro. Yo me declaro culpable por el accidente. Pero el problema es que el seguro, cuando sucedió el accidente, yo tenía ya mi seguro pagado. O sea,
Pero entendió que tiene que ser corrido. What happened was that I stopped,
sí.
I didn't pay for 1 month, and then I start paying, and the accident happened 2 months after I start paying.
Sí.
Tell him the month he did not pay is what triggered the suspension. And we will tell him that if he feels he's not guilty, we will see him back here on his trial date.
Okay. El mes ese que usted no pagó, eso fue lo que disparó el hecho de que le suspendieran la matrícula. Si usted considera que no es culpable, lo vemos aquí la próxima vez para que tenga un juicio. Pero ese mes sin pagar fue lo que detonó que se le suspendieran
Sí, bueno, yo
la
me declaro
matrícula.
culpable. No, yo sé que fue un error que pasó, pero bueno, tengo la información de que cuando pasó el accidente ya yo lo tenía pagado.
Pero usted entendió que es porque, aunque lo haya pagado.
Sí, claro.
Okay. I just, I paid I had paid, the insurance during the accident. It was just that month that I didn't pay.
Tell him the month is what caused the suspension. Let him know the fine for this is $760, and the other charge, the fine is $200. So the total fine would be $960. If he does not want to pay that, he would just enter a not guilty plea today.
Okay. Lo que detonó todo esto fue ese mes que no pagó. La multa por tener la matrícula suspendida son 760 y el otro cargo del cambio errático de carril son $200, son 960. Si usted no quiere pagar esto, puede venir el día que le den para que venga a un juicio, pero la multa que se le impone por los dos cargos son de 960.
Sí, bueno, sí lo pagaré, pero necesitaría para de 2 semanas.
Okay, yes, I can pay, but I will need 2 weeks.
All right, what is this
Más de 2 semanas.
charge? Is it guilty, not guilty, or no low contendere?
I will need more than 2 weeks. ¿Cómo se declara? ¿Culpable, no culpable o no lo disputa?
Culpable.
Guilty.
Does he understand about entering into the guilty plea? He's doing this without the assistance of a lawyer.
Usted entiende que declararse culpable está haciendo esto sin el asesoramiento de un abogado. ¿Entendió eso?
Sí,
Yes.
Does he also understand that he's waiving his right to a trial?
Usted también renuncia al derecho a tener un juicio. ¿Entiende esto?
sí,
Yes.
Is he entering this plea freely and voluntarily?
¿Se está declarando de esta manera por su propia voluntad y libremente?
sí,
Yes.
And does he believe it is in his best interest to enter into the plea?
¿Y usted considera que esta declaración es lo que más le conviene?
sí.
Yes.
The court will accept his guilty plea. The fine amount is $960. He will be placed on probation for 12 months and it will be paid only probation.
Ok, el juez acepta su declaración de culpable. La multa total son $960. Lo van a poner en libertad vigilada, o lo que llaman ellos probation, para que usted le dé tiempo de pagar. Y una vez que usted pague todo, se termina su libertad vigilada.
Ok,
The court notes that interpreting services were provided, and Ms. Green, we are reducing the suspended registration charge down to an expired tag charge.
Yes, sir.
Ok. Van a enmendarle el cargo de matrícula suspendida a matrícula vencida, que afecta diferente. Y se le han proporcionado los servicios de un intérprete.
Let's ask him to please sit down. Ms. Green, if you will call the next person, and I'm gonna step away for 1 moment.
Okay.
Ok, señor Hernández, señor, si se puede sentar y ahorita después le van a decir para que lo de libertad vigilada.
ok.
And after you-
Ok.
Right, okay.
do you have-
So we'll just fill out
do
everything.
you qualify to purchase your own? Or do you want to qualify for a court appointment?
Yeah, I want to
With that charge, he's gonna recommend.
To the.
Yeah, because it's like one of these situations where I didn't get tested or anything,
Sure,
and I
I just wanted to
requested
check
it,
it.
so this one I want to
Yeah.
go further.
So hold on to that. He's gonna talk to you in a second.
Charges.
And if you do get one, this is who your attorney's gonna be.
All right, who is the next person?
We have Jamarcus Robinson.
I'm sorry, can I please have his, okay, Mr. Robinson,
Yes, sir.
have you spoken with an attorney regarding this matter, sir?
Just gave me this card.
To see if he qualifies. He wants to see if he qualifies for a court appointed attorney.
All right, if we will have him to fill out the form, and once I get it, I will let him know if he will please have a seat.
Okay, thank you.
If he does qualify, we will appoint him Attorney Michael Stinson.
Okay.
I mean, I can't talk to him without the attorney to see what he has to say though, still.
He's right
Can-
there.
Can I talk to you and see regarding this case right now?
Well, you should not talk to me because of course, anything you say to me, but let me say this to you. Because of the nature of this offense, it's good to talk to a lawyer because they can tell you some things to do that will help to put you in a better light than you coming in, taking a plea or having a trial. You understand that?
But I understand that, but I've done some things like far as I took a course prior to this date to try to null and void everything just to even show that that wasn't even in character of the situation. So I'm just trying to understand a little better.
Well, you're charged with driving under the influence, so
And
the
I
allegation.
wasn't.
Okay, then you want to enter a not guilty plea. But my question is, you need to let a lawyer represent you in that. I don't think you're gonna be able to represent yourself in this particular offense if you are convicted, and I'm not saying that you will be convicted. But if you are convicted, it has some very severe consequences. So I would recommend that you speak with an attorney. Either I can appoint you one, or you can hire yourself one.
All right. So that's just appointed one right here.
I can appoint you one, or would you prefer to hire your own? You tell me.
I see what your guy is talking about. I'll speak
If
with
you'd
him.
like to see if you're eligible for an appointment for Attorney Stinson, fill out that form and I will be able to let you know that.
All right.
Thank you. You want to call your next person?
Sergio Sanchez Avila.
Sergio Sánchez, por favor, venga al podio.
Sí, presente.
He is charged
Okay.
with driving without a valid license. What is his plea? Guilty, not guilty, or no low contendere?
A usted lo acusan por manejar sin licencia. ¿Cómo se declara? ¿Culpable? ¿No disputo los cargos? ¿O no culpable?
Culpable.
Guilty.
Does he understand that by entering into the guilty plea, he's doing so without the assistance of a lawyer?
Usted entiende que declararse culpable aquí lo está haciendo sin el asesoramiento legal de un abogado. ¿Entendió esto?
Sí,
Yes.
Does he understand that he's waiving his right to a trial?
También renuncia al derecho a tener un juicio. ¿Entendió eso?
sí,
Yes.
Does he understand that by entering into this, is he entering into this plea freely and voluntarily?
¿Se está declarando de esta manera por su propia voluntad y libremente?
sí,
Yes.
And does he believe it is in his best interest to enter into the plea?
¿Y usted considera que esta declaración es lo que más le conviene?
sí.
Is
Yes.
this his first time being charged with driving without a valid license?
¿Esta es su primera vez que lo acusan por manejar sin licencia?
No,
No.
What time is this?
¿Qué número es esta?
no recuerdo.
I don't remember.
Let him know the fine amount is $23.95.
La multa son de 2,395.
He will be placed on probation for 12 months.
Lo van a poner en libertad vigilada por 12 meses.
4 months will be mandatory.
4 meses son obligatorios.
After 4 months, if the sum of $2,395 is paid, his probation can end.
Después de los 4 meses, si usted ha pagado la multa de $2,392, $95, entonces se puede terminar su libertad vigilada si para el 4º mes ya lo ha pagado.
And while on probation, he must complete 30 hours of community service.
Y mientras está en libertad vigilada, tiene que cumplir, aparte de la multa, con 30 horas de servicio a favor de la comunidad.
He will be given a plea form and information on how to contact probation.
Le van a dar un documento donde usted va a firmar cómo se declara y también como un documento de cómo se comunica usted con los agentes de libertad vigilada para que vaya a visitarlos a ellos.
Ask him to please have a seat.
Por favor, siéntese.
Una pregunta.
I have a question.
What is your
¿Qué
question?
le- que ¿Por qué me está dando tanta, o sea, mucho de multa?
Why is the fine so high? Why are you giving me such a high fine?
Because he's had more than one driving on suspended driving with no valid license charge, and for each offense, the fine becomes higher.
Porque usted ha tenido más de una vez este cargo de manejar sin licencia y con cada vez que le dan este cargo, la multa sube, aumenta.
Solo por no licencia.
Is that just for no license?
That's correct, because if you don't have a license, you're not supposed to be driving.
Eso es correcto porque si no tiene una licencia, supuestamente no tiene que estar manejando.
Tell him I have waived the jail time on this offense, but the next time he's charged with this, he will receive jail time.
Yo no le impuse tiempo de cárcel, se lo quité, pero la próxima vez que usted reciba este cargo, de nuevo va a haber tiempo de cárcel.
Ok.
Ok,
Ask him to please have a seat.
por favor, siéntese.
Ms. Green, you want to call the next person?
Equasia Scott.
Your name. Your first name. Fill this information out. Need help? No.
Ms. Scott, what is your plea to the seatbelt and the third violation of failure to maintain insurance?
I didn't know I didn't have insurance at the time, but I got it.
Okay, but if it turns out to be that you didn't have it, you know you're going to have to deal with it.
Yeah,
So do you want me to keep the case here, or do you want me to bind this over to Clayton County where you could have a jury trial?
we could do it here.
Okay, your fine is going to be close to $2,000 because this is your third offense.
With no insurance?
Yes,
I've never got pulled. I didn't know I didn't have insurance. I've never went to court for no insurance before.
I have that you have received a ticket for no insurance on June 17th of 2021, on March 21st of 2022. So this is your third charge of failure to maintain insurance.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, it's only her second. That's the disposition date on that June 17th charge.
So this is the second charge.
This is the second.
All right. The fine amount is $14.95, young lady. It's your second offense. Do you understand that?
I didn't know that. Okay.
All right, do you want to go forward with this today? But that's why your fine is enhanced, because it's your second offense. What is your plea to the charge? Is it not guilty, guilty, or nolo contendere? Well, I don't think you're eligible for a nolo because you've had a previous failure to maintain insurance. So you have to do a guilty or a not guilty.
I guess
And
guilty.
if you're not sure, maybe you should enter a not guilty, speak with an attorney and get some advice.
Okay.
Would you like to do that?
Yes.
Okay. Are you able to hire yourself a lawyer, or do you want to see if you're eligible for the appointment of a lawyer?
See if I'm eligible for appointment of a lawyer.
All right, let's appoint Michael Stinson and let's let her fill out a court-appointed application to see if she's eligible for appointment. If you will please have a seat.
Okay,
You want to call your next matter?
yes. Devin Larry Smith.
Fill all this out. All the way down through.
Mr. Smith, what is your plea to the traffic control device? Is it not guilty, guilty, or nolo contendere?
Guilty.
Do you understand that by entering into the guilty plea, sir, that you're doing this without the assistance of a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
And do you also understand that by entering into the plea that you are waiving your right to a trial?
Yes, sir.
Sir, are you entering into the plea freely and voluntarily?
Yes, sir.
Sir?
And do you believe it is in your best interest to enter into the plea?
Yes, sir.
All right, young man, the fine amount is $175. Can you pay that in 2 weeks, or do you need a longer period of time?
I can do it in 2 weeks.
All right, Ms. Green will give you your plea form and a 2-week agreement. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. If you'll please have a seat.
Nicole Spencer.
Check that. Okay.
Ms. Spencer, you've been charged with driving on suspended license. What is your plea? Not guilty, guilty, or nolo contendere?
Not guilty because I didn't know.
Okay, do you want me to keep this case in Forest Park, or do you want it to be bound over to Clayton County where you're eligible for a jury trial?
Forest Park is fine.
All right, we will place her down for not guilty, and she will be placed on a trial calendar for a court date here in Forest Park. They will give you your plea form. Of course, when you come back, you will need to be able to show that your license was not in suspension at the time of the stop. Do you understand that?
Mhm.
All right, if you'll please have a seat. You want to call your next matter?
Okay, we have last in person, we have Aaron Williams.
Mr. Williams?
Yes, sir.
Sir, you've been charged with failure to yield. What is your plea to this? Not guilty, guilty, or nolo contendere?
Nolo.
Is he eligible for a nolo plea?
He is.
Young man, do you understand that by entering into the nolo plea, you're doing this without the assistance of a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
Do you also understand that by entering into the plea that you are waiving your right to a trial?
Yes, sir.
Are you entering into the plea freely and voluntarily?
Yes, sir.
And do you believe it is in your best interest to enter into the nolo plea?
Sure.
Mr. Williams, the court will accept your nolo plea. The fine amount is $175. Are you able to pay that in 2 weeks, or do you need a longer period of time?
I'll be able to pay in 2 weeks.
Sir, that you will be given a plea form to which you will enter a nolo plea, and then you will be given a 2-week agreement. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. If you'll please have a seat. All right, Ms. Green, do we have anyone else?
We're done, but we still have Mr. I'm sorry, could you, I can't remember. your name. Mr. Robinson had another comment for you, Your Honor.
Once Mr. Robinson is done, would you like me to let everybody in?
Yeah, go ahead and let everybody in. You can go ahead and let them in now. All right, Mr. Robinson, you have a question.
Yes, far as with this plea or whatnot, I had just needed to know, like, what you're saying that I needed to speak with the attorney if I'm approved for it or whatnot, but I'm just trying to find out where I go about, like, far as with the regular plea, if I had to plead out today right now, what was the option, so I can hear that as opposed to me going and talking to this attorney,
So if you were to enter a plea to this charge, this is a driving under the influence charge. You will pay a fine close to $2,000. You will be on probation for 12 months. You will have to take a risk reduction course. You will have to do 40 hours of community service. You will have to undergo a drug and alcohol evaluation. And if they recommend treatment, you will have to do that treatment. So those are all the mandatory aspects of a DUI charge, which is why I recommended that you speak with an attorney.
I feel like speaking with an attorney because I know I can beat that, like, with a landslide.
Okay, so that's why we agreed you were gonna talk to an attorney.
Okay.
All right, so are you able to hire yourself a lawyer? Do you want me to see if you're eligible for the appointment of counsel?
No, I gave her the paperwork to see what your lawyer can
If you will have a seat,
and then after.
if you will have a seat, if you meet the requirements, give them your email address. They will send you the notice that I've approved you for court-appointed counsel, okay?
And then if I don't want to work with that counsel, can I bring in my own after that, after we whatever talk? Because I don't understand what, your counsel is gonna do. Well, I know my
Well,
counsel.
let me say this, it's not my counsel. This is the public defender for Forest Park. So this is not the court's counsel. This is just the lawyer that serves as the public defender. Your ability for the appointment of counsel will have a lot to do with your income. So if your income is below a certain amount, I can appoint you a counsel. But if it's above that amount, you're gonna have to hire a lawyer. That's why I wanted you to fill out the financial affidavit. But if you want to hire yourself a lawyer, I'm fine with you doing that. Would you prefer to just hire your own lawyer?
I just need to understand. I gotta get in contact and see what your court appointed lawyers, what could they possibly do compared to what I can do with my people. So that's why I'm trying to ask you with understanding right now.
Okay, now the court thing, I'm over here.
Well, let me say this to you. I think you need to get yourself a lawyer. And I don't think it should be between the court appointed attorney. If you're able to hire a lawyer, sir, I would strongly recommend that you do that. But I can't make you do it. If you think you could beat this case by yourself, you don't have to have a lawyer if you don't want to. Do you understand that?
Yeah, I understand. I understand that. It's just, like I said, it's questions that you can't answer for me, which I want to ask directly, and you saying that we can't talk about it.
There are questions as the judge in the specifics of the case that I cannot get into. Yeah. You need to talk to an attorney. That's all I can tell you is you need a lawyer.
And what if I want to bind this case over to Clayton County?
Then I will bind it over. If you'd like for it to be bound over, I will be more than happy to bind it over, and the judge over there will tell you the same thing. Would you like for this case to be bound over to Clayton County?
He's not really giving me what I want to answer. Like, it's simple. I understand that it's legal. It's God. Just keep it here. I guess I gotta wait on your email or your phone call.
Nope, you don't have to do any of that. Why don't I do this, Mr. Robinson?
Because I'm trying to, like.
I know, I'm gonna help you. Sometimes judges just kind of need to, I'm gonna bind this case over to Clayton County. That's gonna give you about 3 to 4 months to make up your own mind regarding an attorney, okay? And when you get over there, you'll meet with a different judge. They will give you the same options, but this is gonna give you about another 3 to 4 months to make up your mind. But during that time, I'm gonna strongly recommend to you that you hire yourself a lawyer. This is a very serious charge.
Exactly.
I hope you beat this charge.
And I know I will.
I hope that you beat this charge, but I think you will be better equipped to do it with a lawyer, okay?
I appreciate that.
We're gonna bind this case over, Ms. Green. Get his information, send the case over to Clayton County.
Okay.
All right, and Happy New Year's to you.
Oh, take care of yourself.
Yes, sir.
You free.
All right.
Get your information.
I appreciate it.
Thank you. That's all I
Okay.
have for in here, Your Honor.
Excuse me?
That's all. Everyone's out of the courtroom.
Thank you. So what I'm going to do is ask everyone that's in the queue to please type your full name and your email address into the chat and send it to FPMC. Type your full name and your email address in the chat and send it to FPMC. If you want to go ahead with that, Ms. Ida.
Por favor, asegúrese los que están presentes que escriben en el chat su nombre completo, su correo electrónico y se los mandan a FPMC. May I make an announcement to find out if
Absolutely.
somebody...
Go ahead, Ms. Ida.
Okay. ¿Hay alguna persona, por favor, que se encuentre ahora en esta audiencia virtual que necesite la asistencia de un intérprete en español? Por favor, levante la mano o active su micrófono y déjenos saber si necesita intérprete, si está presente ahora.
I haven't done my case, sorry.
Type your name and your email address in the chat and send it to FPMC.
Asegúrese de poner su nombre completo, su correo electrónico y lo manda a FPMC. ¿Hay alguna persona que necesite intérprete? Déjenos saber ahora, por favor.
So what I am going to do is please make sure you are in a stationary location. You have adequate connectivity, and I'm going to call your name based on the name of your device. When you hear me call your name, unmute your device. Please make sure that your video is on at all times, because if it is not, you will not be reached on this cabin.
Asegúrese de que tenga su video abierto, que lo podamos ver. El juez va a hacer la lista de casos, la va a llamar. Y cuando diga su nombre, active su micrófono y diga cómo se declara. ¿Ok?
All right, when you hear me call your name, unmute your device.
Cuando oiga su nombre, active su micrófono.
Corey O'Brien.
Yes, here.
Mr. O'Brien, you're charged with I want to be sure I understand this charge. What is he charged with?
Shoplifting less than 500.
Okay. Mr. O'Brien, what is your plea to the shoplifting charge, sir?
Can I understand the options?
Well, you can have a trial in Forest Park, which would be a bench trial in front of me. You can have a jury trial at Clayton County, which means I bind your case over to the Clayton County Courthouse for a jury trial. Or you could take a plea and you'd be placed on probation and do a whole bunch of stuff because of the shoplifting charge.
Okay.
So those are your options. And if you don't know, sometimes it's good to come and ask questions, which you just did, enter a not guilty plea, speak with an attorney, and then come back to court.
Okay. What about no load? Is that an option?
A no-load plea has no significance on a shoplifting. So
Okay.
a no-load plea does nothing for shoplifting. And let me tell you, the fine for shoplifting is $975. You're gonna be on probation. You're gonna have to do community service, and you're gonna have to do a whole bunch of stuff, and you're banned from that store during the time you're on probation.
Okay.
All
So
right?
You suggested I plead not guilty and get a lawyer?
Well, if you feel like you didn't do anything wrong, you should plead not guilty.
Okay.
All
And
right?
how much is would a lawyer be provided for me?
If you meet the requirements for me to appoint a lawyer, I will appoint you one. A lot has to do with your financial circumstance.
Okay.
They're gonna have you to fill out a financial affidavit. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Have you typed your name and email address in the chat and send it to FPMC?
Yes.
All right, can we confirm that, Ms. Yates or Ms. Payton?
I don't see it.
All right, what is your email address, sir?
Can you type it, please, sir?
Type it in the chat.
I typed it. It's the
I
first.
see it. I see it.
All right. So they're gonna send you a plea form where you will enter a not guilty plea, and then they're gonna send you a court-appointed application. Fill that out, send that back immediately, and then you will get notification as to whether or not you meet the criteria. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
All right?
So okay, so the other option is a $900 fine.
The other option is for you to enter a plea, but sir, if you didn't shoplift, there's no reason for you to enter the plea.
Okay, cool.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
All right.
You don't want to enter a plea to something you didn't do, okay?
Okay, cool.
All right. So they're gonna send you your plea form. They will send you your court-appointed application so you can disengage from the call. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Your Honor, may I be excused?
You can, Ms. Ida. Now, are you sure that no one else needs you?
I asked and nobody answered, and I look at the numbers, you know, the names
Okay,
on the
thank
listing.
you. That'll be
Nobody needs
fine.
me. Thank you.
Okay.
Bye.
Frederick Key. Mr. Key, if you'll unmute your device. Right on your device where you see the little microphone, click it.
Yes.
All right, Mr. Key, you're charged with driving on suspended license, unlawful use of a cell phone, and seatbelt for a child. What is your plea to the 3 offenses, sir? Not guilty, guilty, or nolo contendere?
Break it out.
I can hear you, and I can see you. Mr. Key.
Yes, I can hear you now.
I can hear you and see you. What is your plea to the 3 offenses? Not guilty, guilty, or nolo contendere?
I think I'm gonna go with a no-lo on it. But Your Honor, can I ask you one question?
What is your question?
Right now I'm in the process of getting my suspension, paying my suspension off. But if I get this one, it's gonna set me off for like another whole year.
Well, you know, I can't do anything about that other than to tell you that if you need a little bit more time, you can enter a not guilty plea today, and maybe that will assist you.
I need a little bit more time.
Then enter a not guilty plea. Then enter a not guilty plea. All right, do you want me to keep the case here in Forest Park where you'll have a bench trial? Or do you want it bound over to Clayton County where you can have a jury trial?
No, Forest Park, sir.
All right, have you typed your name and email address in the chat?
Yes, sir.
Do we have Mr. Key's information?
Yes, we do.
All right, Mr. Key, you can disengage. You will receive your court notice for your new court date here in Forest Park. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you, sir. You can disengage from the call.
All right, thanks.
All right, Acacia Enriquez. How are you doing, young lady?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine. What is your plea to the following 2 closely charged? Is it not guilty, guilty, or nolo contendere?
Guilty.
Do you understand that by entering into the guilty plea, you're doing this without the assistance of a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
And do you also understand that by entering into the plea that you're waiving your right to a trial?
Yes, sir.
Are you entering into the plea, young lady, freely and voluntarily?
Say that again for me, please.
Are you entering into the plea freely and voluntarily?
Yes, sir.
Young lady, the fine amount is $200. Are you able to pay that in 2 weeks, or do you need a longer period of time?
I can do that in 2 weeks.
All right, have you typed your name and email address in the chat?
Yes, I did.
Ms. Payton or Ms. Yates, do we have her information?
Yes, we have it.
All right, young lady, you can disengage. You will receive your plea form through your email no later than close of business tomorrow. Sign it, send it back, and then you will receive your 2-week agreement. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Dematavis Alexander?
Yes.
What is your plea to the loitering charge, sir? Is it not guilty, guilty, or nolo contendere?
Which is the least stressful for me?
I don't know because I'm not you, so you have to tell me.
Can you like explain it to me?
Loitering is simply that you were someplace probably at a time or that you should not have been. At least that's what the police officer is saying. I won't know the specifics of the case until you come back to court. So you'd have to tell me what happened, but if you feel like you didn't do anything, The most appropriate plea then would be not guilty.
Okay, so if I plead guilty, can I just pay my ticket and go home?
Well, you don't have to, you can just come down to the courthouse and pay your ticket. So you don't even have to be on the calendar. So what do you want your plea to be to the lawyer in charge?
Guilty.
All right, do you understand that by entering into the guilty plea, you're doing this without the assistance of a lawyer?
Yes.
And sir, do you also understand that by entering into the plea that you are waiving your right to a trial?
Yes.
Sir, are you entering into the plea freely and voluntarily?
Yes.
Sir, the fine amount is $350. Are you able to pay that in 2 weeks, or do you need a longer period of time?
2 weeks.
Have you typed your name and email address in the chat?
Yes, sir.
All right, do we have Mr. Alexander's information?
Yes, we have it.
All right, Mr. Alexander, you will receive your plea form and your 2-week agreement no later than close of business tomorrow. Sign the documents and send them back, and make sure you make payment within 2 weeks of today. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir. And also a question. How would I pay that? Can I get my mom to pay it?
They're going, yes, you can. Your mother can come down to the courthouse and pay it. They will give you instructions.
Okay, because I live in Colorado, so.
That's fine. Well, you can coordinate this with your mother, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. You can disengage. Michelle Sloan,
Hello.
how are you doing, Ms. Sloan? What is your plea to the failure to maintain insurance charge? Is it not guilty, guilty, or nolo contendere?
Nolo.
Is she eligible for a nolo plea?
She is.
All right, young lady, the fine amount is $620. Are you able to pay that in 2 weeks, or do you need a longer period of time?
I need a longer period of time.
You understand that by entering into the nolo plea, you're doing this without the assistance of a lawyer?
Yes.
Do you also understand that by entering into the plea that you are waiving your right to a trial?
Yes.
Are you entering into this plea, Ms. Sloan, freely and voluntarily?
Yes.
And do you believe it is in your best interest to enter into the plea?
Yes.
The court will accept your plea. You will be placed on probation for 12 months. It will be paid only probation, and the fine amount is $620. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Have you typed your name and email address in the chat?
Yes, I have.
Can we confirm that, Ms. Yates and Ms. Payton?
Yes, I have it.
All right, Ms. Sloan, you can disengage from the call. You will receive your plea form and your probation information by tomorrow close of business. Do you understand that?
Yes. I have one quick question. Do I need to show the proof? Because I did get the insurance after receiving the ticket.
Yes, we see that you got it after the ticket.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
All
you.
right. All right. Eric Montalvo.
How you doing, Mr. Freeman?
I am fine. How are you doing, young man? What is your plea to this charge?
Not guilty.
Okay, do you want me to keep this case in Forest Park? Or do you want it bound over to Clayton County? And the difference between the two is in Forest Park, you'll have a trial in front of me. In Clayton County, you can have a jury trial with the jury. So that's the biggest difference.
Okay, well, I live in Texas.
Well, they'll give you your court date. It'll be a long time out, but you would need to come back here no matter what.
Or I just leak guilty, I just pay for the ticket.
Well, you can pay the ticket if you want to. The ticket is $350 if you want to do that.
Okay,
But you don't have to do it. But you don't have to do that. So you can enter a not guilty plea today, and you can call in and pay the ticket at any time, and that will take it off the calendar. You understand that?
So I can plead guilty and pay the ticket, take it off?
If you plead guilty and pay the ticket, that will take it off, or you can plead not guilty and pay the ticket, and that will take it off.
Okay.
Which one do you want to do?
Well, I just pay the ticket and get over it with.
All right, so what is your plea to the charge today is not guilty. We're going to give you a new court date, and you can pay the ticket anytime before your new court date. Do you understand that?
But if I plead guilty, I don't have to get another court date, huh?
That is correct.
Okay, I'll just plead guilty and pay the ticket off.
Do you understand it by entering in? So you're changing your plea from not guilty to guilty, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
You understand it by entering into the guilty plea, you're doing this without the assistance of a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
Do you also understand it by entering into the plea that you are waiving your right to a trial?
Yes, sir.
Are you entering into the plea freely and voluntarily?
Yes, sir.
And do you think it is in your best interest to enter into the guilty plea, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right, the fine is $350. Have you typed your name and email address in the chat?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Payton and Ms. Yates, do we have his information?
Yes, we do.
All right, so Mr. Montalvo, you will receive your plea form and your 2-week agreement through your email no later than tomorrow. Sign it and send it back through DocuSign and make sure you make the payment within the 2-week time period. Do you understand that?
All right. Can I pay today or no?
You can pay today, but wait until after court is finished.
Okay.
All right, thank you. You can disengage.
All right, thank you.
All right, Ms. Gresham,
Hi,
how are you doing, young lady? What is your plea?
my plea is not guilty.
Wait a minute, I don't have her on the calendar.
Yeah, because I've been on trying to get in the courtroom for like since 8 this morning. It was on the court for 8.
Okay.
And I'm just now.
So I'm gonna let you talk with, this is our 1 o'clock calendar, so what I'm gonna need to do is have them to reset you on the 8
Yeah,
o'clock
because
calendar.
I'm here. I'm actually here at the courthouse. I can't. I drove all the way from Douglasville to come here because I couldn't get in. So I'm actually here. They just told me.
Well, let me
They're
tell
in
you,
court.
the problem is the 1 o'clock calendar is an arraignment calendar. The 8 o'clock calendar was a trial calendar with the witnesses. So we're gonna have to set you down on another calendar. What is your plea to the charge?
The plea is not guilty.
Okay, then they're gonna need to set you down and give you a new trial date.
Okay.
And that trial date is always at 8 o'clock in the morning, okay?
I know.
On a Wednesday.
Okay. Yeah, I know. But for some reason, I was having trouble getting in on here at 8, at 7 something.
You won't have that problem the next time.
Okay, and I also have one other question. Is it any way if I want to pay this, just pay it? I mean,
If that's something that you want to do, yes, you can.
How much
I will
is
leave it up to you.
How much is it?
I don't even know what you were charged with because I don't have the 8 o'clock calendar. Wait a minute.
That's
Let me see what you were charged with. I'm looking at it now.
Okay,
No,
thanks.
you weren't on this morning either. She wasn't on the calendar this morning, so it must have been another day.
I have her at FTA at 8.
Hold on,
at
Ms. Gresham.
8:43.
All right, Ms. Yates, what are you saying?
I have her FTA at 8:43. She's on page 4 at the top
Okay,
of
what
page
is she
4.
charged with?
Expired or no license plate.
Okay,
Or
so the
decal.
fine for that, is that the only charge?
Yes.
All right, young lady, that fine is $188 if you decide to pay it.
Okay, and if I pay it and I don't have to go to court and all of that stuff.
That's correct, if that's what you choose to do, okay?
Okay, and I need to go. You said in order because I was on at 8 this morning and they didn't let me in the courtroom. So do I need to just ask them why I'm here for another court?
I hear you, I hear you, but let me just say, unfortunately, we're gonna have to reset this, but if you pay the court the fine before your court date, that concludes the matter, okay?
Okay, so do you want me to just go to this window or can y'all go ahead and reset it and I'll see in between that time or whatever the day?
I need for you to go to the window and get a reset.
It's the lady who just came to the window and just said y'all in court and shut it back. Is she on here? Is she here?
I'm right here.
Oh, you wait out there in the hallway
yeah, so I'm
and
coming
she
to the
will be
window.
with you when they finish up, okay? Just
Okay,
be
I'm coming
patient,
to-
all right?
All right, thank you.
No problem. All right. Does that take care of everyone from the 1 o'clock calendar?
Yes, sir. We're good. We're clear in the courtroom.
Can I tell you all, you've done